Hello, I am Joy Williams, and it is June 7th, 2018 at 1:53 p.m. I am in my home in Winston-Salem, and I have the pleasure of interviewing my mom, who is off camera. She did not want to be on camera, so I want to respect her wishes. But today I'm going to talk about chuck roast, and I decided that I wanted to make something similar to what my grandmother used to make. My mom was telling me about how my grandmother, her mother, would make this chuck roast. So I went to the store and I bought what I thought was a roast. It said something about a roast on the packaging, but it turns out that I actually got the wrong cut of meat. I got an eye of round roast, and it just didn't cook the same. So it took me. I was okay with that. It was a little bit tougher, but the flavor was still good. It's fine. But I wanted to think about, how did my grandmother cook her food? What was the recipe like? And why did she always use a chuck roast? And why did she not use an eye of round roast? Because then I asked my mom, well, what's the recipe that grandma used to make with an eye of round roast? And we'll soon hear why my grandmother did not have any recipes really with that cut of meat. So Mom, thank you for being willing for me to interview you. Is there anything first that you would like to say?
I'm just thankful to be here.
Amen. I'm thankful for you to be here too. Thank you for being willing to pass on the traditions of old. So first off, can you retell to me and anyone who's listening the difference between a chuck roast and an eye of round roast?
Well, when I grew up, my mom and most of the people that I knew cooked chuck roast because it was a cheaper cut of meat and it was more flavorful because it was marbled with fat. So it did have more fat than other cuts of meat, and it was cheaper. I think back when I was growing up, it cost about $1.99 a pound. Now I know it's more than that today, but a good sized chuck roast was good for Sunday dinner.
Mm. So where did you grow up and where did you go to get your meat?
I grew up in Columbia Terrace.
That's Winston-Salem.
In Winston-Salem.
North Carolina.
And my mom did the grocery shopping. And before we had a car, she would catch the bus, public transportation. So I'm not sure where she did her shopping. It was probably whatever was convenient on the way home or near her job, so that it wouldn't be too difficult to transport getting back home on public transportation.
This might seem like a silly question, but so there were grocery stores?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because I remember some family talking about going to a meat house.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a little bit earlier.
Okay. And so what time period are we talking about?
We're talking about in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Okay. That's when our food system started to change anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Mom. Is there anything else you want to talk? Oh, the recipe for the chuck roast. This is the punchline. Okay, what is the recipe?
Well, after you selected a nice chuck roast. Then you brown it in oil on the top of the stove. After you put your salt and pepper and seasonings on it, whatever you like, then place it in a Dutch oven. Add onions, carrots, potatoes, celery, and a little water, and bake at 350 for about 2 hours, maybe longer. I haven't done this in a while. So about 2 hours should do it. And it should come out nice and tender. Now, if you want gravy with your chuck roast, you have to add some thickening to the liquid or the juices in the pan.
After it's done.
After it's done.
Okay.
So you would take out your meat and vegetables and add flour to the liquid in the pan and stir it around to make your gravy, and then add the pot roast and vegetables back to that.
Okay. And what spices do you remember Grandma putting on besides the salt and pepper, if she put it on any extra spices?
Salt and pepper and maybe some seasonal.
Okay.
That was the standard go-to back in the day.
Okay. So you all have pre-made seasonings. Good. Well, thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. And thank you all for listening. And stay tuned to more stories of our traditions. All right. Thanks. Bye.